Use a table of values to sketch a graph of y equals 2/3 x minus 3. All right, let's make our table of values. We're going to pick values of x and figure out the corresponding values of y. And y is given by 2/3 x minus 3. In this case, the denominator of the coefficient on x is 3. So by picking multiples of 3, we can avoid fractional answers. So I'm going to pick 3 and 6. I'll pick 0 and then -3 and -6. Let's plug in these values for x and figure out the corresponding values for y. We have 2/3 times x, in this case that's 3, minus 3. 2/3 times 3 is 2, so we have 2, and then 2 minus 3 is -1. So when x is 3, y is -1. Next, let's plug in 6. We've got 2/3 times 6 minus 3. 2/3 times 6 ends up being 4, and 4 minus 3 is 1. So when x is 6, y is +1. When x is 0, we have 2/3 times 0 minus 3. Anything times 0 is just 0, and 0 minus 3 is -3. Next, let's plug in -3 for x. We have 2/3 times -3 minus 3. 2/3 times -3 ends up being -2. And then -2 minus 3 is -5. And lastly, we'll plug in -6. 2/3 times -6 minus 3. 2/3 times -6 ends up being -4. And -4 minus 3 is -7. So if we look at these points, we have 5 points that we're going to graph. The first one is 3, -1. And then we have 6, 1. And then 0, -3. And then -3, -5. And -6, -7. So those are our 5 points. We're going to start with 3, -1. If we start at the origin, 3 tells us to go to the right 3, and -1 tells us to go down 1. So the first point, 3, -1, is going to be right here, 3, -1. The next point is 6, 1. The x-coordinate's 6, so we go to the right 6. The y-coordinate's 1, so we go up 1. And so that point is going to be right here, 6, 1. The third point is 0, -3. Because the x-coordinate's 0, we're not going to the left or to the right at all. We're staying right there and then going down 3. So this is going to be on the y-axis at -3. The fourth point is at -3, -5. So because x is -3, we go to the left 3, and y is -5, so we go down 5. That point is going to be right here. And the last point, -6, -7, we have to go to the left 6 and down 7. That point is going to be right there. -6 on the x-axis, -7 on the y-axis. The points all look like they're on the same straight line, so that gives us confidence that we've done it correctly. We connect that line, we connect the dots with a straight line, and then we can label this. This is y equals 2/3 x minus 3, and that's our graph.